Good morning, all. It's your girl, the Lazy Liz, and we are going to be doing a tour of my 9B garden for this week. And I want to say that I haven't done much in the garden this week, but actually I have. I've done a few things, moved some things around, and planted some things. So let's jump right in, and don't forget to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up if you love garden tours. So I decided to start in the back of the garden. You can see here we have a lovely trellis here. This is the Eaton trellis. And the cucumber plants are they are going crazy. I actually just gave them some fertilizer today. And it's been probably about 2 weeks since I fertilized my plants, and I could tell they really needed it. So yesterday I did some pruning and also lots of fertilizing today. So let's just get a little closer here. And you can see down here are our morning glories. Hello, morning glories. I also did a treatment of the Captain Jack's Dead Bug Brew, which is going to be the last one I do for a while. And hopefully that will stave off some of the bad bugs. And we have our aloe vera down here at the bottom. And again, y'all, my allergies, they're just crazy. Oh, now look at this. We have our little marigold in here. And also we have a little gnome in here. He looks kind of weird, but you know. That's my whimsy in the garden. And also, my morning glories are climbing. They are about to up here now. And so it's going to be really lovely when they start putting blooms on, which I don't know if they will because of the summer heat. Now, this cucumber plant, here's a cucumber you can see right in here. And it is, I don't think it was pollinated properly, and so it didn't fully mature. And these two plants right here, I put them in at the same time that I did the other ones, but it's just something weird going on. And I think it's more full on this side of the trellis because of the sun, because the sun actually comes in on this side. Now I have two other cucumber plants down here, and they just started beginning to trellis. So imagine that once this cucumber plant goes down, then that one will actually kind of take its place. Now here inside the trellis, you can see, y'all look at my tomato plant. Now people are starting to cut their grass because it's Saturday. So sorry about that. Nothing I could do about it. But y'all, my tomato plant, it just looks totally beat down to the ground. But it's still doing tomatoes. I actually picked a few off this morning and decided to leave the orangey ones on. And here's the other tomato plant over here. And also it's a little beat, but it's still doing okay. And then we have here's our bell pepper plant. You can see some bell peppers in there. Nice. And here is this big gargantuan marigold plant. And my little banana pepper. Now, it got so active out here once I started recording. But that's how it is in the urban garden. And then this bucket, I just need to go ahead and take the carrots and the beets out. And I'll be sure to share with you what comes out of this bucket, because I'm not convinced the beets are doing well in these buckets. Let's go over to our sunflower plant. I was thinking the sunflower was almost done, but I still see some buds in its armpits, so I think it's going to be okay. Y'all, I had to go into voice-over mode because it was too much noise outside. So y'all, look at this beautiful trellis. I'm telling you, if you look at the video before this, you will see the growth of the garden just in a few days. Because of the rain, everything just goes absolutely crazy. So I hope this inspires you. Y'all like that? I love those cans. And I've been slowly making them, as we get them in the kitchen, I'm recycling those. And those are actually with my eggplant. Well, that can is actually with the eggplants. And these are my humongous marigolds that are in with the cucumber plants as well. Now look at this cucumber plant. I can't stop looking at it, especially because of this. I'm so excited. I just came out one day and bam, I got cucumbers, y'all. And they are growing so well and looking so lovely. Look at that. Look at that beautiful cucumber. I was so excited to see those. You have no idea. And here are my bunching onions that didn't do so well because they were covered up by some really huge leaves. And then these little morsels here are peppermint plants. So I'll be excited to see those grow and get big as well. So back here, I have my contender bean plant. It's a bush bean plant. And look, y'all, it has some more blossoms. And y'all, I practically deadheaded these bean plants, but I decided to leave them in and not send them to the murder pile and just see what happens. And it looks like I may get some more beans. Now this plant, not looking that well, and you can see I took lots of leaves off, but more new leaves are growing on these. But there's something funky going on with this contender plant, so I don't know how this one's gonna work out. So back here behind here I have some of bell pepper plants, and they're either red or yellow. I don't even know because I got some of the things mixed up, but it doesn't matter. They're all green to begin with. And then down here is my infamous walkway where I have some of my aloe plants. And y'all, these ended up being here because when I first did the garden, I didn't have this much stuff going on. I didn't have this walkway, and we just kind of threw them down because they were looking kind of blah. But they're coming back to life now, so I have to find new homes for them slowly but surely. And this is the sunflower patch, and yes, I know I need to thin this out big time. And look at that. My little canned dream has a little dirt on it, but y'all, that's the garden with one of those aloe plants in there. And the sunflowers are looking lovely and smiling at me this morning. And I have to say, they were looking better before it started raining. The rain has knocked petals off and the wind, and they're just hanging on, but I can't even see it hanging on for dear life. They're just doing really well. And I can see where more heads are coming up on these, and I just need to do a bit more staking. Now, I did find that these plants are suffering from powdery mildew, which I didn't know sunflowers did, but there's a lot of things that I don't know, so you'll hear me say that a lot because it's new to me and I'm learning. So you can see, look at that leaf. It has that powdery mildew on it and some other kind of disease going. So I just need to either get rid of those or, do some chopping and get everything in line. We have some zinnias back here and also a nasturtium plant. And the zinnias don't have any blooms yet. Yeah, I can't wait to get blooms on my flowers. I've been planting flowers everywhere. And back here, trellising up, is my cow peas. No peas yet. I don't think I do. I'm gonna have to look at my calendar to make sure I don't miss any harvesting. And then y'all, look at this plant. If you would have looked at this, if you look at the video before this, you would see that this was significantly smaller. It's amazing. And dun, 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 she has yellow squash growing. But I'm a bit perplexed about that because there's no male flowers on here. So how did it get pollinated? I don't know. Or is it pollinated? We'll see in a few days what happens. It may die off. I'm not sure. Then we have another little guy here in with the okra plants. Hey, Mr. Gnome guy. And the okras are looking quite lovely. I think once the okras come on, I'll be the most excited about those. I don't know. I'm excited about everything, y'all. It doesn't take much. And here in this trellis, I call this the dream trellis. It's kind of turned into a bit of a nursery. And I moved my fountain over here, my little bird bath over here. And look, y'all. Bubble, bubble, bubble. This fountain is on a solar system, and you'll see the solar panel is on top of the trellis, but it is just extremely cloudy outside, and so we're not getting any bubbles. But as soon as we get some good sun, it really kind of sparks up, and I get really good churning on that fountain. So here's another cucumber plant that I just refused to murder, and look at the little bitty rhizome in there. And there was a few in there, but I don't expect that to live. And then we have some, I believe, Brandywine tomatoes and some Cherokee purple tomatoes. And I have a few little buckets of these, and they're doing really well. So I am going to hold on to these for as long as I can. I don't think I'm going to replant all of them, but I'm going to find a spot and just sink them in. And these are the bell pepper plants that I have left over. And there's another Brandywine. And then in these little pots here, I have some chives, which they're just coming up. I don't know how well they're going to do in the heat, but they are in a shaded area. And then we have a little volunteer dill here. I think I had some dill on my hands when I planted that particular planter. And here's the rest of the dill. So yay for dill. I'm going to need those if I want to do some pickles with my cucumbers. And here, this little bitty piece of green that you see in the middle of the screen is rosemary. And then I have one tomato slip, but it's going to get planted. And then we also have the Cherokee tomatoes again. And then this is the chamomile. I'm guessing at some point I'm going to have to thin those. But for now, I'm just going to let them grow. And this is a husky red tomato plant. And I actually grew this from a piece of plant that ripped off of one of my other terrible looking tomato plants. But it was looking good at the time I got that cutting. And it has some basil in there with it. Y'all, look at that. Look at the cilantro back there. It looks kind of horrified. It looks like the nightmare before Christmas. And this is my spinach plant, and it is bolting. And I'm going to let it bolt because it's an experiment. I want to see what it looks like. I want to see if it has blooms on it. And I'm going to try to save some seeds from it as well. So I'm going to let it go ahead and do its thing because, you know, it's all about experiments here in my garden. And here's another cutting off of the husky red tomatoes, and it's doing quite lovely here. It has grown quite a bit, and you can look at some of the past videos and you can see how things are going or how they've grown. And the carrots are just laying down because I put some fertilizer on them, so they're just, you know, they're resting. And this is a iceberg lettuce plant, and I'm still picking lettuce off that, y'all. The lettuce is so juicy and buttery. I love homegrown lettuce. I didn't know I did, but now I did. Bubble, 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 bubble. I'm gonna fix this bird bath and fountain up so it's gonna look really pretty, but right now it is what it is. So here on the outside of the trellis, y'all, give this video a thumbs up if you love butterflies like I do. Look at those butterflies. Absolutely beautiful. And hello, Mr. Gnome. Got another little gnome guy. They look kind of freaky, y'all. I want some more of those, though. This is my okra plants, the other okra plants. So in total, I have 4 okra plants. And I'm excited to see the bloom for one thing, because I have absolutely beautiful flowers, which I have not witnessed in my garden yet, but I hope to. And on these plants, I had a little leaf miner damage. I think the leaf miners tried to invade again, but I did do the squishing technique. And again, I did some spraying yesterday, so the whole garden got a little bit of a spray. These are zinnias and yeah, and some other wildflowers that are just starting to peek their little heads up. So again, with the flowers, I'm excited to see how they grow and how they bloom. And this is my boot garden right here, y'all. It's my boot. It was so raggedy. I put sunflowers in it. So I have another boot that I have to fix up. It took me a whole 5 minutes to do this, so I use it as a planter. And it kind of freaked my brother out. He's like, "What is your boot doing out here?" So I'm growing in it. And I'll show you my new boots at the end of this. And these are the sugar baby watermelons, and they are starting to trellis up the arch. Yay! And they're looking quite lovely. And if you want to see why I have the aluminum foil at the bottom, just go to the video before this and you will see, and I'll give you a good explanation of why I have that there. And next we have the zucchini plant, and again, it had a lot of growth and it has tons of buds. Yay! I'm excited. Y'all, I'm excited. I'm food excited. I'm veggie excited. And look, I have a baby guardian here. That's what I call them, my guardians. So I have a baby here. Lizards in the garden are very beneficial, by the way. And then here is my radish bed, and these are some French breakfast radishes, and I'm just picking them out. I succession sowed a half of these, so some of them are still getting bigger, and then on the right are the larger ones. And if they bolt, I'm okay with that. It will be a fantastic experiment for me. In this bucket are some potatoes. I put some white potatoes in here, and I know it's not the time of year to put them in, but I decided to do it anyway. And so there's really nothing to see at the moment, but I have some wonderful potatoes in there. I also retransplanted some of my bell pepper plants, and the ones that were in here were kind of spindly looking, and I'll show you in a moment what I did with those, because I just had a ton of bell pepper plants. And then here is another melon plant, or some more melon plants, and they are starting to get their true leaves. Yay! And I know I'm going to have to thin these out, and I will, but for now I'm going to let them grow a little bit before I actually start thinning them out. And basically it's going to be a Darwin thing. The best ones will survive. And I know I keep showing you all these trellises, and I keep putting them in different places, and I think this is going to be its home, because I need some place to trellis these melons, and I'm going to trellis them here. And I also have my little vertical garden that is not a garden yet, because I haven't planted anything in them yet, but I will. It's coming. So it's going to be a little bit of a teepee, and I'm pretty sure this is going to be his home. I just need to shore things up a bit. Now I wanted to show Bobby this. This is my retractable hose. Y'all, the retractable hose gave me life. And it is just in a flower pot, a small flower pot hose, a 75-foot hose. I'm going to put a link to this hose below, but it is fantastic. I also been collecting water, and this bucket was full, and I've used all the rainwater that it collected. And this is a really good spot because the water just falls right in the bucket, because I don't have gutters, and I've used all the water. And then again, this is going to be a vertical garden. It's just empty right now. I've been really moving it around the garden, trying to find a good place for it, and I think, not exactly sure if that's going to be it yet. So put your hand over your ears if you can't take it. We cuss a little bit on this channel. This I have dubbed my fuck it garden patch. And basically what it is just a patch of dirt that has not been amended or anything. And for those plants that I had extras and I don't have a spot for them and I don't need them, instead of murdering them, I decided to just sink them here into the ground. So what I have is 3 bell pepper plants and 2 marigold plants, because the marigold plants, I actually trimmed some off of another plant and they had roots. So I decided to just sink them in and experiment and see if they grow. So that is the bucket patch. And here in the front of the house, in my 2 planters, I have some really beat up kale, and it's still alive. I gave it some fertilizer this morning, and it looks pretty horrible. I don't know. I'm just gonna leave it be. And then we have the kale here, and I believe I could probably eat some of this kale now, but I want it to grow a little bit stronger, so I want to leave those leaves for the photosynthesis. And I gave everything fertilizer this morning, so hopefully this week we'll get some really good growth on those. And down here are some of my aloe vera plants that grew from the one plant that my uncle gave me, and they are looking absolutely beautiful, y'all. I thought I had killed these plants, but they're loving it. They love it outside, and I don't think I can keep up with all the babies that they're making. They're like rabbit plants. And then this is my generational house plant that got infested with gnats. It had a gnat fungus problem, so I put it outside because I got tired of swatting gnats out of my face, and it loves it outside, so I decided to leave it. So as you can see, we have our new patch of land here, and I am really enjoying just kind of figuring things out, y'all. I'm a creative. I love trying to figure out how to create things, and I like for things to be pretty, and I do like the uniformity of things as well, but at the same time, I love it when I can figure out how to use things like my old boot and turn it into something useful and recycle it. So I'm all about recycling, but I don't want it to get messy or anything. Let me know in the comments, do you think the garden is starting to look a little messy? Don't talk about the grass though. The grass is a whole different talk show. Eventually that's going to be going away as well. But I really enjoy doing these garden tours. Me and Bobby are having a blast. You can look at her videos. She does zone 5B and I'm in 9B. And the fantastic thing about our channel is that you can see both zones and how we grow things at the same time, which you can grow there as opposed to here. Right now my garden is like a jungle, and hers is just really getting started because she's up north. So it's kind of cool. So we're very happy to have you on the journey with us, and I just want to welcome all the new subscribers here. So make sure you check out the playlist, and I'm sure you'll find something useful. And I'm going to show you my boots as well, you all. So my new boots, so stay tuned. And again, give this video a thumbs up for Mr. Gnome. Look at Mr. Gnome in there looking all cute and stuff. Y'all, look, I have bee activity. Look at the bees. The bees do not like me to be in here when they are in here. They literally run me off. So everybody have a great day, and thanks for joining.